Charlie Munger, what a legend. Today, we're diving into some of his deepest wisdom. And no, this isn't about picking the next hot stock. It's about something way, way more important. It's about the real fight in investing, the one that happens inside your own head. Munger watched incredibly smart people go completely broke, and he said it was all because of one single hidden enemy. I mean, just listen to this quote. This is Munger dropping a bombshell. We're talking about a guy who lived for 99 years, right? He saw it all. And his biggest warning, his number one takeaway, wasn't about some complex economic theory. It was about us. He saw some of the smartest people you can imagine. We're talking top-tier professionals get wiped out. And it wasn't because they were dumb, not at all. It was because of this blind spot they didn't even know was there.
So you gotta be asking, right? What is this blind spot? What's this trap that's so powerful it can take down anyone, no matter how smart? Munger was crystal clear on this. Figuring this out, well, it's 100 times more valuable than any fancy spreadsheet or financial model you'll ever use.
All right, so where do we find this enemy? Well, the first place Munger tells us to look is in the mirror. Yeah, he argued that most of us, when we're investing, are fighting completely the wrong battle. We're pointing fingers at the stock market, at inflation, at the economy, but the real enemy, the one that's actually going to wreck you, it's right there, looking back at you. And he saw this happen so many times, it became predictable. It's like a 5-step playbook for total financial ruin. Step 1, you get that first win. Bam! You make some money, and suddenly you think, hey, I'm pretty good at this. Maybe I'm a genius. Step 2, that ego kicks in. You start taking bigger risks, maybe even using leverage, chasing those bigger and bigger returns. Then, step 3, the market does what it always does. It turns. That's when the panic starts. Step 4 is the full-on emotional meltdown. You either sell everything at the bottom or you double down, just refusing to admit you made a mistake. And finally, step 5, it's all gone. Total collapse. Just like that. And look, this isn't some abstract idea. Munger told this story about an entrepreneur during the dot-com bubble in '99. The guy made $5 million. $5 million. He thought he was the king of the world, a total genius. Fast forward just 2 years, he'd lost every single penny. And on top of that, owed the bank $2 million. Think about that. He didn't go broke because the bubble popped. He went broke because he followed that 5-step pattern to a T. He bought into his own hype, and it led him right off a cliff. This right here just lays it all out, plain and simple. On one side, you have the illusion, what we think is the enemy. You know, we blame market crashes, we blame inflation, we blame a bad stock pick. But on the other side, that's the reality. That's Munger's truth. It wasn't the crash, it was your fear that made you sell. It wasn't inflation, it was your greed that made you overpay. It wasn't a bad stock, it was your envy and your ego that made you chase something you didn't understand. The real enemies, they're inside us. Okay, so let's break this down even further. Munger actually pinpointed 3 specific emotions, 3 killers, as he called them, that are almost perfectly designed to wipe out your wealth. Killer number 1, fear. You know this feeling. It's that voice screaming in your ear when the market's tanking and everything's red. Sell, get out now, save what's left. It feels like you're protecting yourself, right? But what are you really doing? You're panic selling almost always at the absolute worst time, guaranteeing a loss. He saw this play out in real time, big time, during the 2008 financial crisis. People were just dumping their stocks, not because their analysis changed, but because they were terrified, just pure gut-wrenching fear driving every decision. And Munger's conclusion was brutal. They weren't beaten by the market crash. They were beaten by their own fear. Okay, on to killer number 2, greed. This is fear's evil twin. It shows up when everything's going great, when the market's flying high. It's that little whisper in your ear saying, just a little more. Mortgage the house. Go all in. This time is different. Greed is what makes you throw your own rulebook out the window and forget that every party eventually has to end. And then there's the third one, the one Munger said was the most fatal of them all. Envy. Think about it. Fear and greed are about your situation, but envy is about wanting what someone else has. It's so powerful it makes you abandon your own solid plan just to chase what your neighbor or your coworker is doing. It makes you do completely irrational things because you can't stand seeing them win. And this story he told, man, it's just heartbreaking. There was this lawyer, had his whole life savings, probably had a perfectly good, sensible plan, but then he saw a colleague make $1 million on Bitcoin, and that was it.
Envy just hijacked his brain. He threw his entire life savings into it, probably didn't even understand it. 3 months later, crushed, wiped out. He didn't lose to Bitcoin, he lost to envy.
So, fear, greed, envy. These are the bad guys. What's our weapon against them? For Munger, the answer was simple, but not easy. It's rationality, just pure, cold reason. But, and this is a big but, he always warned that taking the path of reason, well, it can be a pretty lonely road. This story is just amazing. Picture this. It's the 1973 crash. The market is in a total freefall. Everyone is panicking, selling everything they own. And what are Buffett and Munger doing? They're just sitting in their office, chilling. People were calling them up, freaking out, "Aren't you going to do something?" And they just sat there. To the rest of the world, they looked absolutely insane. But they weren't. They were just being rational while everyone else was losing their minds. And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? If you're going to be rational, you have to get comfortable with people thinking you're weird. You have to be okay with them misunderstanding you. In fact, Munger would say that being misunderstood is like a badge of honor. When everyone else thinks you're crazy, it's often a sign that you're probably doing something right. Okay, so we get it. The enemy is us. But knowing that is one thing. How do we actually fix it? How do you protect yourself? This is where Munger's idea of building an emotional firewall comes in. It's basically a system designed to save you from yourself. And he gave us a 4-step plan to build it. Step 1, and this is huge. Just admit you're human. Acknowledge that you've got these flaws. You're going to feel fear, greed, and envy. Step 2, build your firewall. Create a hard and fast system of rules that you can't break. Step 3, find your people. Surround yourself with other rational folks who will call you out when you're being dumb. And step 4, this one's a tough pill to swallow for some people, accept that good investing is boring. If you're feeling a rush of excitement, you're not investing, my friend. You're gambling. So what does this firewall look like in practice? Munger broke it down into 3 key parts. First, you need cash. Having cash on hand is your best defense against fear. It means you're never a forced seller. Second, you need ironclad principles. Simple rules like don't use leverage or stay within your circle of competence. These are your guardrails. And third, you need time. A long-term perspective is the ultimate weapon against short-term emotional craziness. If you're thinking in decades, not days, the daily market swings just become noise. So why go through all this trouble? What's the end game here? For Charlie Munger, the ultimate payoff for winning this internal battle wasn't just about a big bank account. Nope. The real prize was something so much bigger, so much more important. Because what is wealth, really? Munger basically said we've got it all wrong. He'd seen tons of people with staggering amounts of money who were just miserable. So clearly, true wealth isn't about the number of zeros in your account.
So what is it? It's peace of mind. That's it. That's the real treasure. The ability to put your head on the pillow at night and actually sleep, because you know your system is sound. You know you're acting out of reason, not fear.
And that peace of mind buys you the ultimate luxury, freedom. The freedom to just say no. No to bad ideas, no to bad people, no to opportunities that feel wrong. When you've mastered your emotions, you're no longer a slave to them. You're free. And for Munger, that was worth more than all the money in the world. But let's be real, Munger was not an optimist on this front. His final verdict was pretty brutal. He believed that 90% of people, 9 out of 10, lose this game. They lose the battle against their own emotions. They beat themselves. So that leaves us with the big question, his challenge really. 90% of people lose to their emotions. The real question is, which 10% are you going to be in? It has nothing to do with being the smartest person in the room. It has everything to do with being more disciplined than that voice inside your own head. And that is the core of Charlie Munger's wisdom.